which has witnessed increased levels of water. So yesterday we were reporting from that very spot near the tree, but now we are not able to go there because water is almost around 5 to 5.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18. This is Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. If you are someone who lives in Delhi, you perhaps have this sinking feeling, and I mean that quite literally, because a lot of the city is underwater. There are several parts of the city that are inundated. Roads have turned into rivers, like many say. Water supply has been hit, power has been hit, and unfortunately there is no respite coming in for Delhiites, even though there hasn't been rain for the last 24 to 36 hours. The roads continue to be inundated. Yamuna River is flowing way above the danger mark even now. When is the respite coming through? That's the question many Delhiites are asking. The Chief Minister, the Lieutenant Governor, the state government, the administration are all taking stock on ground to ensure that the situation changes. It's only up to perhaps this weekend is when we are going to be seeing this kind of situation continue. We here on CNN News 18 are tracking the situation on ground from different parts of the city. My colleagues Akash, Anvit will be joining us shortly. Anshul joining us from ITO as well, from the heart of the national capital, where roads had turned into rivers. It was really like a water park for many who turned up there this morning and made the most of this misery, so to say. Anshul, coming to you first, what's the situation like at ITO? We had the Chief Minister this morning come and take stock as well there.
Well, yes, the Chief Minister and the Lieutenant Governor came out here, and even MLA Saurabh Bhargava also came out here, and there was a bit of a controversy that also happened at that very point regarding the drainage system that is not working out here at the ITO. And I'll just try and show you in the visuals over here, ask my camera person Pramod Saklani to show you in the visuals over here, that the situation remains exactly the same. The photo ops that were supposed to happen of the ministers and of the Chief Minister and of the LG, that happened with all the hue and cry. There were media cameras that were present over there. But now it has been more than 5 to 6 hours since the Chief Minister has visited his site, and there is no respite whatsoever. There is no pump that you can see which is trying to pump out the water. Now remember, the water that we are seeing on our screens right now, this is not the water of Yamuna. These are the waters that have come out of the drain out here in ITO, and it is very clear that this water could actually be solved if the water is pumped out. This entire problem could be solved if the water is pumped out from this location. But yes, there is no pump that can be seen over here. No one is trying to clean the drainage system out here so that the situation returns back to normal. ITO, remember, as you rightly mentioned, is the heart of the city. There are several government offices in this entire area, and situation like this is developing over here, where you can see how people are actually running from pillar to post just to get around this area. Several vehicles have already broken down in this water. Now the level of this water is at least 2.5 feet. So this is the kind of water logging that has happened over here. The drainage systems have given up of the national capital, much like the government. So yes, it remains to be seen after the photo ops that has happened since morning. Will the government or the Lieutenant Governor finally give those orders to the MCD and to other PWD departments to make sure that at least drains are cleared over here, so that the water that has logged out here can actually go back, because this water is going to become a breeding ground for all the bad diseases that Delhi is going to suffer over the next few weeks. And we all know who to blame for this time around when cases of dengue and chikungunya go up. We all know who to blame this time around, because this is the kind of preparation that we can see out here in the national capital, especially in the heart of national capital. And there is zero to no effort that is being made by the government at this point in time to make sure that the water is drained out. We heard the meeting that happened yesterday, the DDMA meeting, in which several decisions were taken. But yes, all those decisions that were taken as a reaction and not as a proactive step, and that is the reason why we are seeing that the entire
situation. It's an unprecedented amount of rain that the capital city has witnessed over the last few days. But even now that the rain has stopped, these unprecedented scenes still continue to haunt the people of the national capital. Anshul, do stay on with me, because we are keeping a track of what's transpiring across different parts of the city. That was a report from ITO, the heart of the national capital. Anvit, Nikhil and Akash also joining me on this broadcast. And Akash, let me come to you. Bhairo Marg is where you're reporting from. We've seen the serpentine queues of vehicles during peak hours over the last 2 days. Are there similar scenes that we're seeing today as well?
So, no traffic problem on Bhairo Marg because we have got a Pragati Medal tunnel open now. But I'll try to show you the visuals. In fact, in the visual, you can see the whole, this whole area, in fact, the whole road. This is the most prominent place as far as traffic is concerned, and this is the kind of situation that we are seeing as of now, where 48 hours have already been passed, and this particular road is full of water. Also, Poonam, the important part is that except the fact that Yamuna water is going down now, we have government, we have agencies that have actually no solution for this particular problem, because all of them are assuring us that you need not to worry, but on the other hand they have nothing to do. In fact, this is quite visible because 48 hours have already been passed, and this is the kind of visual. In fact, I'm showing you these visuals. VJ Pradeep Kumar Das is basically showing you these visuals where this road is submerged. And in fact, day before yesterday, this was the condition when, water approached this road. And now, in fact, till few hours back, the level was constantly rising. We have no traffic police personnel, and, these people, in fact, even when, traffic police has clearly said that, no one is allowed to pass the road because it is quite dangerous. You can see that, many two-wheelers and three-wheelers are actually trying to pass the road, and it is quite dangerous because we have a danger of potholes and all other things. Also, Poonam, it is important because Anshul was trying to mention about the dream and the plan of Delhi government to make the city as a city of lakes. And this is quite visible on the roads as of now, because we have areas like ITO, we have areas like Bhairo Marg, and we have areas like Ring Road at Red Fort. These areas are submerged in water. Because of this condition, we have a lot of problem for people in Delhi. In fact, since morning, we are reporting that how people are facing traffic congestions and a lot many things. Also, you don't have alternate for every route, because as far as, traffic coming from Noida is concerned, so someone who wants to go to Mandi House or someone who wants to go to Connaught Place, it is not very easy for that person to opt Sarita Vihar Road and all other things. So this is the condition that I'm showing you as of now. We have got some sort of relief because the Yamuna water is going down now, and we can expect that in next 48 hours, this problem will further get some sort of, in fact, people of Delhi will get some sort of relief. But this is the condition where agencies are doing nothing except the fact that they are asking people to wait because Yamuna level is going down now.
Right, Yamuna level is going down, but it's still way above the danger mark. Remember, the danger mark stands at 205 meters. It's already at 208 point something right now. The water is coming down by a few meters, but not as much as it should. There will be respite in the coming 24 to 48 hours is what the Chief Minister had also said. We're really hoping that that is the situation. We're also getting Nikhil live now, joining us from Rajghat, again in the heart of the national capital. In the morning, Nikhil, we saw how even the signage outside Rajghat was completely submerged. What are the scenes like now? Is the situation the same?
Well, the situation continues to be same, Poonam, outside the Rajghat, and this is the place from where we are reporting from. This place is completely filled with water. In fact, what we have seen this morning, and in fact, the water level has also increased at this particular place. And this is the situation which is now being reported at about 5 p.m. now. And to see the picture as to what situation is all about, many of the local people have also gathered here. But we can see some of these CISF officials who have been deployed in parts of this particular area to actually not allow people to move beyond a particular point. And this is also one such reason why the barricading has been put up here by a team of the Delhi police. But such is the situation of the Rajghat area. There is also Gandhi Memorial in this particular place. And Poonam, this is something which we have been given to understand since the very start, that the last words of the Mahatma Gandhi were "Hey Ram." So had he been alive and he would have seen this particular situation, he would have uttered the same "Hey Ram" word, because this is the condition which is now being seen across the part of the city, across the national capital Delhi. But apart from it, what we have been given to understand that gradually the water level in the river Yamuna, it is currently on a decreased side. And a while back we were also reporting at the civil lines area, that place as well is gradually seeing a lower side of the water. It is continuously, getting on a down position. But such is the situation of the Rajghat, and it will take a while. It is not going to, subside in just 1 or 2 days. It is surely going to take around a week for water actually to settle in from this particular place. And also, there is a tweet as well which has been put out by Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, which is another piece of the information that the Okhla water treatment plant is currently underway. The work at that particular site has already started, and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is on his way to visit that particular locations as well. But amid all this, there is a problem which has been caused to the national capital Delhi, and the business at the same time has also been impacted in the capital city. Back to you.
Right, life has been thrown out of gear for many. Many people are working from home. Schools, colleges have been shut across the national capital. And it's not just Delhi that is facing this issue. It's the national capital region, and Noida is also bearing the brunt as far as waterlogging is concerned, as far as power cut is also concerned. Anvit, my colleague, joining us from one such sector in Anvit. What's the situation like there?
Yeah, see, Poonam, we are in Nangli Wajudpur Gaon, and you can see how the rescue operations are still on. NDRF teams are here along with the civic authorities, and senior police officials are also right now at the spot. The major challenge here is police officials we spoke to have said that they have rescued and relocated more than 1,000 people, the residents of the area. But the major challenges lies before them is the rescue of cattle. Hundreds of cattle are here, and many people, the owner of the farmhouses in this area and gaushalas, several gaushalas are here. So main focus of the administration is now that majority of people have been relocated from these flooded areas to safe areas. Many shelter homes also have been formed in many pockets of Noida to relocate these people, and their arrangement of food and other arrangements have also been made by the administration and by the police. But the larger issue that lies here, you can see NDRF teams are here, boats have been arranged, and civic authorities are also here. You can also see JCB and other tractors have also been arranged to rescue people and to bring out cattle. But the major issue is here, many people have gathered here, they are talking to civic authorities because they want their cattle to be rescued. One such person is here. Sir, आपका क्या है, कितनी गौशाला है अंदर?
मेरा नाम दीपक है और मेरी गौशाला है हिंदराइज गौशाला करके है, करीब उसमें 200 पशु अभी भी हैं। अच्छा। और यहाँ पे क्या आ रहा है, जो भी लोग आ रहे हैं वो बाहर से जो गौशाला है या जो भी बाहर पशु मिल जा रहा है उनको लेके आ रहे हैं।
तो क्या बता रहे हैं, अंदर पानी बहुत ज्यादा है इसलिए रेस्क्यू नहीं हो पा रहा है?
पानी ज्यादा है, एंड वी आर डिमांडिंग फॉर दी बोट, जो मोटर बोट है, कम से कम 10 से 20 बोट जब यहाँ पे डिप्लॉय किए जाएंगे, एटलीस्ट उसके साथ 5-5 एक बोट में अगर 5-5 स्विमर होंगे तो शायद वो गौ माताओं को अभी खींच के रस्सी के थ्रू ला सकते हैं, बिकॉज अभी पूरा पानी के ऊपर रहेंगे वो इजीली वो खींच।
Also, other than goshalas, there are many dog shelters and pet shelters. So early in the morning also many animal welfare bodies were also here. Senior police officials were here. We also had a word with additional CP Law and Order, and he said that overnight teams have worked and they have worked to rescue people. More than 1,000 people have been rescued. You see, more teams of animal welfare bodies are here to rescue dogs, cats and other animals, because these area is particularly an area where several farmhouses are there, and these farmhouses housed thousands of pets, including all these cattle. So work is still on, even though the flood authorities are saying that water level has not gone down in the past 24 hours, but they are saying that efforts are continuously on to rescue pets and to rescue other animals as well.
Rescue operations are on there. It's the national capital region that is inundated in multiple parts. Even in Delhi, from Bhairo Marg, where my colleague is reporting from, Akash, we're given to understand that there were restrictions on vehicular movement, but people still following through, unfortunately getting stuck there.
Exactly, and in fact I'm showing you the visuals there. You see two-wheelers are still trying to pass the road even when the traffic is officially suspended on this particular route. There are people who are finding their ways to bifurcate the in fact to surpass the barricades, and in fact now they are trying to pass the particular road. In fact, just 2-3 minutes back we had one auto which got stuck in this particular water, and this is the condition. In fact, we had no traffic police personnel here, but yes, one PCR has just arrived, and the condition is that there you see a line of these two-wheelers, where these two-wheelers are in fact trying to pass the particular road. there is a danger associated with this particular condition because this is an underpass. We have a lot of holes, in fact, and there is a possibility, that one can find it very difficult to pass the particular road, and in fact, it is very dangerous. But these people are basically trying to pass the road, and not just they are trying to pass the road, but it is a question on traffic police as well as to what they are doing when traffic is officially suspended. How can these people be allowed to pass the particular road? So this is the kind of condition there here at Bhairo Magh, Poonam, where on one hand we have the whole road submerged, and on the other hand we have these people who are actually passing the official orders and are putting their life in danger.
Yes, they're putting their life in danger. For what? That's really the question that many are asking. I thank all my colleagues who joined us, getting us the latest as far as the situation on ground is concerned. But the visuals are haunting for some of them. At least they've left their belongings behind. They've left their homes behind because they've been completely submerged. Let's take a look at some of these locations in the national capital, some iconic spots in fact. Let's try and look at what exactly Red Fort area looked like. Now this is the road behind the Red Fort. This is what it looked like yesterday. You see vehicles, you see people passing by in say ankle deep water. Look at what the situation is like today. The water has only increased further. You can see, you can barely see the footpath anymore. This is the elevated road perhaps, which is why you see the road there. But otherwise, look at the situation here. Let's move across to now another location that we are getting to you from, and this is the ITO, which is the heart of the national capital. It is a junction where you have to perhaps pass by, not just if you are commuting within the national capital, but coming in from the other parts of Noida or Gurugram as well. This is what it looked like yesterday. This is what it looks like today. It's the water is completely rising. You can't see the footpath anymore. The foot-over bridge that goes across, that also seems to be submerged to an extent. This is the kind of scenes that we witnessed in the heart of the national capital. Moving on now to other parts of the city, which too are witnessing something similar. This, of course, is the Yamuna bridge. Now, the Yamuna is flowing unabated, like we've been telling you. This is what it looked like yesterday. But look at the current, the flow today. It is decreased a little compared to what it was yesterday, but the current is still strong. The river still is flowing in full flow, and it is still way above the danger mark. That's what's most worrying as far as the administration here in the national capital goes as well. Again, the areas near the Yamuna bridge where evacuation was one of the first things that was carried out. This is the Yamuna Bazaar. Look at those visuals there where you see most homes, at least half of them, that are submerged there. There was rescue operations that were conducted by the NDRF as well. And look at these visuals here. People wading through chest deep water to ensure their belongings are safe so that they can get to safer ground. That's really what the situation has come down to, where all you have to care about is your life and not really about your belongings. Leaving aside your home, leaving aside your belongings, all you have to do is walk away so that you can be alive. That's the situation for many in this particular city, in the national capital region as well. Let's take a look at some more reports that are now coming in from different parts of the city.
इस समय हम नोएडा के सेक्टर 135 वाजिदपुर गांव में मौजूद है और आप देखेंगे पुलिस कमिश्नर गौतम बुद्ध नगर भी यहाँ मौजूद है। इसके अलावा रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन जारी है और आप देखेंगे कि किस तरीके से मवेशियों को निकाला जा रहा है। जेसीबी की मदद से, ट्रैक्टर की मदद से। यहाँ पर जिला प्रशासन की टीम मौजूद है, यहाँ पर पुलिस कमिश्नर मौजूद है। इसके अलावा आपको बता दें कि नोएडा अथॉरिटी की भी टीम मौजूद है और लगातार रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किया जा रहा है, क्योंकि कल रात से बताया जा रहा है कि यहाँ पर पानी भर गया था, जिसके बाद से जो मवेशी हैं वो फंसे हुए हैं। लिहाजा यहाँ पर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किया जा रहा है और जो मवेशी हैं, जो गाय हैं, बछड़े हैं, तमाम लोगों को निकाला जा रहा है।
With that, we're slipping into a quick break here on this edition of Nation at 5. But on the other side, we have a super exclusive as far as India's space odyssey is concerned. Don't go anywhere.
नंबर खंबे उधर वाले
क्या हुआ, किसी को लगा है करंट? आपके पैरों में लगा है. Okay, so they are talking about the electric current, and this is the kind of problem that can, in fact, that can be seen. We know about the electrocution case at New Delhi railway station, and now people are complaining that there we have a pole where they are talking about the electric current flowing in that particular pole. So these are the conditions. It is it is a not very common condition, not very general condition for the national capital, because last time when we had flood situation in 2013 and 2010, in fact at that time we did not have such conditions, and today while we have roads submerged in water, while we have houses where water has actually entered, we have conditions like such where in fact people are talking about the electric current coming into the poles and other areas.
All right, Akash, continue to stay with us as we move and speak to our another colleague, Anshul, who's joining us live from Mayur Vihar's relief camp. Anshul, take us through what is happening on the ground.
Well, yeah, the situation in the national capital is getting from bad to worse with every passing minute. We had expected that the water levels might deteriorate from today morning, but that is not happening. Even it is deteriorating, but the levels are very, very less. Now, the visual that you see behind me, this is not the bank of Yamuna, but this is actually Mayur Vihar, which is approximately a kilometer and a half away from the banks of Yamuna, in which Yamuna flows regularly. And this is the kind of situation that has developed over here. The entire area is absolutely submerged, and right out here is the relief camps that have been set up by the Delhi government. Now you see the condition of people who are staying over here. The condition is absolutely miserable of the people. They are still waiting for the flood waters to go back so that they could return back to their homes, which are in the low-lying areas. If you talk about the facilities that have been given by the government, these facilities are absolutely minimal, and people are forced to live under these makeshift tents. So this actually tells you the story of how the government is actually functioning at this point in time. We are scarcely seeing any sort of water that is being pumped out from any of these flooded areas. And even if the water in the Yamuna starts to drain out, the situation out here is going to remain the same, because these waters that you see on your screens right now, these waters are going to become a breeding ground from many insects and for many vector-borne diseases in the coming few days. So yes, the biggest challenge for the government is now to make sure that the situation gets under control, and once the flood water declines, the biggest challenge is going to make sure of the government is to make sure that the drains are cleared at the earliest, because if the drains are not cleared, then this water that has gathered in and around the national capital, especially in the north and northeastern districts of the national capital, that water is going to prove a very big challenge for the Delhi government. So yes, the next few days are going to be very important as the water starts to recede off Yamuna. The biggest challenge that is going to be faced by the Delhi government is to make sure that these people who are stranded out here in relief camps and are staying in such miserable situation, they get back to their homes, and post that all the water that has gathered in and around the national capital, that water should be drained so that the vector-borne diseases that is already infamous in Delhi, that vector-borne diseases do not show the kind of wrath that we have already seen that they have shown over the past few years. So this time around, the challenge is even more tougher. But yes, how does the government perform this time around is the biggest question, because till now, what we can report from the ground is that the work of the government is that can be seen on the ground is very minimal. There are no pumps that have been deployed. There are no safety measures that have been deployed. People are being forced to live in such miserable conditions right outside the flooded areas where the Yamuna water has reached and has flooded. So yes, it remains to be seen when can the situation finally get under control. But yes, at this point in time, the situation is very haphazard, and the government is probably running from pillar to make sure that the people who are living out here in such conditions, their life is better, their life is improved by any sort of help that can be provided to them, as they have already lost their homes and they have already moved away from their homes due to flooding that has happened in the holy river of Yamuna.
Okay, thank you so much, Anshul, for getting us all those details. I would like to also thank Yash and Akash, who were joining us live from ground and facing a lot of challenges and obstacles to get us ground reports.
From where we are coming, this is the backside of the Red Fort, and in fact, since yesterday we have been reporting from this very spot, and I can tell you one thing, the water levels have only increased at this very spot. One very example of increased water levels, if we compared to the reports we have done from yesterday, that very bus you see in the visual, the police bus yesterday, it was half submerged underwater, and now it has been almost completely submerged underwater. So you can only imagine the kind of water levels which have increased placed over this point. This is the ring road basically, which actually goes towards the famous Margatwale Hanuman Mandir, and in fact this is the very road which has witnessed increased levels of water. So yesterday we were reporting from that very spot near the tree, but now we are not able to go there because water is almost around 5 to 5.5 feet there. So you can just imagine the increasing levels of water from that very side. I also request my video journalist Mr. Arpit Seth to show visuals from this side. In fact, till yesterday our cars were parked till this very point, and now the cars have been pushed back just because the water levels have increased to this very spot. So this means that water level at this very spot is increasing drastically, and in fact the police officials had also maintained that when in fact we are making the way to this very spot from the Gita colony side, the police official maintained that most of the traffic has been diverted from this space, and in fact they say the water level has increased drastically. Though yes, we know that water levels of Yamuna have gone down, but still water levels here at this very point is increasing, and not only at this very space, but in fact if we go to the other side of this very elevated road that lies the Nigam Bhodh Ghat or the Yamuna Bazaar area, that is also completely submerged under the water, though we've been given to understand the water.
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 here on CNN News 18. And it's a new chapter as far as India's space odyssey goes. It is a successful launch by ISRO just a short while ago of Chandrayaan 3. It's the third lunar mission of India. We've seen what's transpired over the last few hours. Congratulations, accolades pouring in from the Prime Minister, from several ministers. And of course, the people of India are celebrating a billion hopes ride on this mission, the results of which we'll only know on the 23rd of August, when it is scheduled to make a soft landing on the south pole of the lunar surface. CNN News 18 spoke exclusively to the chairman of ISRO. Listen in.
A successful launch. What are the challenges for the next 3 or 4 weeks, sir, till August 23rd, which is a tentative?
You heard already what is going to happen further. Yeah. We are going to raise orbit from now to translunar injection condition, and that will happen over some 4 burn sequences, which will be very timed and controlled. And if everything goes well, on 1st of August, we will be leaving Earth and going towards Moon. It's called translunar injection. After that, it cannot come back. Then it will start a journey towards Moon, and that is the first step. After that, it will travel another 4 days to reach Moon. Then it will be captured on the Moon by an appropriate firing. If you don't fire that correct time, it will escape Moon also. Yes. Yeah. So then we will be reducing orbit in the next 3-4 burns to bring it up to 100 kilometers. And everything goes well, then we will be able to land on 23rd or 24th August on the Moon.
So the other aspect here is a lot of people are curious to know why ISRO has chosen this spot for soft landing, the one that you've tentatively chosen.
See, it goes with many things. One, it has a spot where there is still illumination. There are still adjacent zones which are non-illuminated. Okay. So both are there. So if you want to do scientific experiments, you can go to the unilluminated zone and do some mineral studies. And illuminated zone is suitable for solar power generation, so that our craft can live for at least 15 days. So this is the interest. So it is not close to the pole, but slightly near to the pole to give some scientific value.
So I know you don't want to digress to any other project, but how important is this mission for Gaganyaan and other missions? Sir, you spoke about the launch vehicle and the capacity and the kind of features of it that will help you in Gaganyaan.
See, we are using LVM-3 for all these missions and systematically operating it to reach the Gaganyaan goal. See, you would have seen the last 3 launches were successful. Though they were not part of the Gaganyaan program, we have inducted many features which are part of the Gaganyaan program, so as to give edge to that mission. So that ultimately when you go to Gaganyaan, we don't have to have an uncertain rocket.
Okay. Sir, final question on the shape equipment that you put there. People want to know what's the idea behind some equipment on a moon orbit looking at Earth, because all your other payloads are on the surface of Moon.
If you have to study Earth, you can very well study here. You don't have to go to Moon. Yeah. But we are not looking at like that. We are looking at, suppose somebody looks at another planet. What is the type of a global structure of the radiation that you are receiving? From this, can you make a signature? So we are looking at a global signature that can distinguish between a living planet and a non-living planet.
Okay. Successful launch, hopefully a successful soft landing. How important is it for India's space journey, sir?
No, I think it's important for more than one ways. A, that as you saw, the entire nation is feeling proud about it. Also because as we look forward to next 25 years, that Amrit Kal when India would be reaching a place, I think this heralds the beginning of that, the ascent of that. Secondly, even though we started our space journey late through this Chandrayaan series, who got the evidence of water being present on the surface of moon, and this particular mission. And most of all, the scenario that you see, guys like you, friends like you are here, Sriharikota, just standing next to the launch site. Now, this till about 4 years back, this was hardly imaginable, because this was functioning behind a wheel of secrecy. And I think no words will be sufficient to thank Prime Minister Modi.
Final question on a day like this, the Congress coming out and saying, well, it's the contribution of Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi that can't be discounted. How would you see that, sir?
I think the media should themselves ask themselves and respond to it. Was media ever allowed into the Sriharikota campus during Mrs. Gandhi's time or during Rajiv Gandhi's? See, there are thousands of media persons here, close to the launch site. You have the huge presence of industry over here. You have virtually every section of society, students, you have industrialists, you have academicians. Because it was Prime Minister Modi who 4 years back took a very path-breaking decision, breaking the taboos of the past. He opened it up to wider participation, and that has borne fruits. This Chandrayaan mission also has gained value, because there's a huge lot of contribution from the non-government sources. So now, as India is a part of the global world, and we saw it for ourselves a global role, I think the demarcation between public, private and the other sectors has to be done away. We have all to work with synergy, and this is also an evidence of synergized working which we see here today.
Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology and Departments of Space and Atomic Energy, Dr. Jitendra Singh, respected Chairman ISRO and Secretary Department of Space, former secretaries of the department, invited dignitaries, respected dignitaries and invitees. I am very happy to report here that the LVM-3 M4 vehicle has injected the Chandrayaan-3 satellite to the precise orbit, and once again the vehicle is proved to be the most reliable heavy lift vehicle of Indian Space Research Organization. Congratulations to the teamwork of ISRO family. I would like to appraise three things here. The vehicle systems are in the continuous process of quality improvement, especially in the event of our human rating efforts towards making the systems reliable. Secondly, the payload also, capability of the payload also is improved by mission strategies as well as vehicle engineering approaches. We are in the process of increasing the launch frequency of this vehicle, considering the national requirements as well as satellite demands. Here, so many improvements we have incorporated in this vehicle. For example, the S200 nozzle, they are processed exactly as per the human rating standards, enabling us to have 100% NDT and the inherent pocket erosion.
We're shifting focus from that to some unfortunate news that's now coming in from the national capital. We've seen the kind of havoc that rains have wreaked in the national capital region. Unfortunately, now 3 lives have been lost as well. 3 children, unfortunately, have lost their lives due to drowning. This is coming to the fore from northwest Delhi in Mukundpur, is what we're now learning. Anshul, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details of what exactly transpired. Yes, Anshul.
Well, yes, what we were fearing since morning that has happened, and about what the government was patting their backs, that there has been no deaths due to the water logging and due to the flooding situation in the national capital. That unfortunate incident has happened. 3 kids aged between 12 to 15 years had gone to take a bath in the waterlogged area in Mukundpur, which falls under the Jahangirpuri police station. There was a field, is what we have been told, and in that field, these kids, there was a lot of waterlogging, and these kids decided to go there and enjoy the water that was over there. But as soon as they reached there, what we have been told, that they drowned in that water, and all these 3 kids lost their lives. Their age ranges from 12 years to 15 years. Their bodies have now been recovered by the police and has been sent to the hospital. Now the Delhi police is trying to figure out as to what were the reasons due to which this drowning happened, whether they slipped in that or was there some other conspiracy that might have happened. That is something that is being investigated at this point in time. But yes, shocking news was coming to the fore of how 3 kids have lost their lives. We have seen visuals coming to the fore from across the national capital, where people have stepped out of their houses and are enjoying the water that has logged
across the north districts and northwest and northeast districts of the national capital. And it seems like these we have been showing this to our viewers since morning of how people are enjoying the free water park rides, and that is something that has happened. And it again raises questions on the preparations of the local police and the local administration. When water is blocked in the area, why are people being allowed to enter that water? Why are people being allowed to enjoy their picnics inside those waters? Is the biggest question. We still haven't seen any action that has been taken by the Delhi police where people have gone inside these waters. In fact, the traffic in such areas where the traffic has been restricted, the vehicles are being allowed to move. Where is the police? Where is the local administration? That is the biggest question, and people are enjoying this free run, due to which such an unfortunate incident has happened yet again in the national capital. Now, yes, it remains to be seen as to who will take the responsibility for the loss of life of these 3 kids who died due to drowning in the water that has flooded the national capital.
Unfortunate news coming to the fore from the national capital. For the moment, though, Anshul, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Prime Minister Modi is in France. It's his second day of the visit and he attended the Bastille Day parade just a short while ago. He was also hosted by the President of the National Assembly in France just a short while ago. It was a lunch that Prime Minister Modi attended there. There are a lot of engagements through this evening that are expected for the Prime Minister, including the big bilateral with President Emmanuel Macron at 8:30 p.m. This evening. But these engagements continue for the Prime Minister as India and France try to deepen ties, try to strengthen ties as far as economic cooperation goes, as far as our strategic partnership goes. It's already a 25-year-old strategic partnership. There are 25 years more to come at least, is what the Prime Minister had also said. Sanjay Suri, my colleague, joining us, getting us the latest of what's transpiring there in Paris. Sanjay, we now know that the Prime Minister has attended a lunch that was hosted by the President of the National Assembly. What's next for the Prime Minister?
Well, the next item is the critical one, and that was prepared for at dinner with Macron last evening. And this is a bilateral meeting, and we are expecting a statement from both the leaders together at the Élysées Palace. That should be about 8:30 p.m. IST today. And that statement, following on from the dinner talks last evening and the bilateral discussions this afternoon, getting underway shortly, should give us some firm indication of what transpired and what has been agreed. But of course, we have very promising indications so far, both by way of what the Prime Minister has had to say and by way of what we saw of the DSE clearance for the Rafale deal and the submarines deal. That clearance is not the same as the final agreement on the dotted line, but it's significant preparation, and it would appear that the formal announcement would be imminent, and one way or the other, we should know the outcome fairly soon.
Right, the big bilateral is at about 8:30 p.m. This evening. There's the meet with the CEOs after that as well, where the Prime Minister is going to be pushing for India to be the ultimate investment hub. All that and much more we'll keep a track of here on CNN News 18. But for now, a quick break.
Of Yamuna have gone down a little bit. So this is not only the Yamuna water but also the sewage water and in fact the water which has come from the drainage systems over here. Now there are two roads which connect to this very spot. One road comes from the IT area from where our colleague Akash is reporting, and the other one comes from the Geeta colony side. Both the roads have been closed for the general public. In fact, if we go to this side of the of this very road, this road is also completely submerged underwater. Yesterday, till that very point, approximately from 100 meters from here, we were able to actually see the road. But today, this entire area is submerged underwater. And in fact, where I'm standing right now, here only the water is knee deep. But yesterday, the water at this point was almost just to my ankle. So you can just imagine if we compare yesterday's scene from today, that at how the levels of water has increased. And in fact, there has been alert which has been sounded for many areas. And in fact, today we could expect some rains in Delhi as well, because what the IMD had maintained that today, after the breather of couple of days, which was 13th and 12th, now today is the 14th, and today we could expect some rains in the area. In fact, not only that, yesterday from this very spot, a lot of visuals went viral of the animals also getting affected. In fact, a lot of stray dogs were rescued from this very spot, and now a lot of animal life is also being affected. Interestingly, we have to understand one more thing, that if the water level of Yamuna rises once again, and in fact if it rains also in the national capital, then it will be a double whammy for the people of the national capital, because this particular road is, as you can see, this is just filled with water, and now this water is standing water. Now with this comes the added aftermath of this very flooding which has happened in the national capital, because now this water has started to stink. This is the dirty water now. This is not the flowing water. And in fact, the entire area, in fact, if we go to, if we can show you the visuals, if we go to that very end point, now the elevated road, the beginning of the elevated road is also starting to submerge under the water. So you can just imagine how worse the situation is getting from this very point. In fact, different advisories and in fact different messages were given to the people to stay inside their homes. And in fact, this is the very message we also want to give, that it's better to stay indoors, because the situation in the national capital continues to deteriorate despite the fact that water levels in Yamuna are going down. Back to you.
Okay, Yash, I'll request you to hold on with us while we move to Akash, who is getting us live updates from ITO. Akash, are there any response teams or emergency response action teams on the ground for any relief being deployed?
So several teams have been deployed by the state government. In fact, the district administrative teams are very much deployed. But yes, on ITO at least we are not seeing any. Also, Kohina, it is important to mention that whenever we talk about ITO, so it is somewhere a sort of starting for your Lattian zone. Okay, so water has reached to this particular area. In fact, is reaching to Supreme Court. The fun fact is that even when you are talking about the level going down, you have your drainage system, and it is a fact now that the whole drains in fact go to Yamuna only. And when Yamuna is overflowing, so these drains are not finding their ways. And in fact, this is the reason why this water is either backflowing or overflowing. We have several sort of tunnels made and several sort of corridors made. In fact, we have Pragati Maidan tunnel that was dedicated last year, but in fact in that particular tunnel we have a water problem, and because of that problem, that water tunnel that tunnel has been closed. But now again, if I can show you the visuals, this is the ITO bus stop. ITO bus stop is a famous bus stop because of the fact that a lot of people on a daily basis commute from this particular stop, and today this stop is in fact submerged in water. In fact, the water level is increasing constantly. This is the sewage water which is in fact has approached the main roads. And another image I'll try to show. This is the PWD headquarter. So PWD manages all these roads. Other than MCD, we have PWD which manages the road. And the irony is that in fact in front of PWD headquarter, we have this waterlogged area, waterlogged road. Yes, there are a number of statements and a number of claims. क्या कह रहे हैं आप भाई साहब, क्या कह रहे हैं, क्या बता रहे हैं? हाँ जी,
करंट आ रहा है
खंबे में करंट आ रहा है. कहाँ?
तीसरे नंबर खंबे पे उधर वाले.
क्या हुआ, किसी को लगा है करंट? आपके पैरों में लगा है. Okay, so they are talking about the electric current, and this is the kind of problem that can in fact that can be seen. We know about the electrocution case at New Delhi railway station, and now people are complaining that there we have a pole where they are they are talking about the electric current flowing in that particular pole. So these are the conditions. It is it is not very common condition, not very general condition for the national capital, because last time when we had flood situation in 2013 and 2010, in fact at that time we did not have such conditions. And today, while we have roads submerged in water, while we have houses where water has actually entered, we have conditions like such where in fact people are talking about the electric current coming into the poles and other areas.
All right, Akash, continue to stay with us as we move and speak to our another colleague, Anshul, who's joining us live from Mayur Vihar's relief camp. Anshul, take us through what is happening on the ground.
Well, yes, the situation in the national capital is getting from bad to worse with every passing minute. We had expected that the water levels might deteriorate from today morning, but that is not happening.
Welcome back. You're watching CNN News 18. This is Nation at 5 and I'm Poonam Burde. Let's get you some news coming in from our neighborhood now and from Pakistan. It's Pakistan's doublespeak that has been completely exposed. Pakistani lawmaker now raising questions in the parliament as far as supply of arms and ammunition to Ukraine is concerned. Is this an opportunity that the Pakistani army sees? It's interesting that the Pakistani army and Pakistan really wants to send arms to Ukraine, even as they do not have money to conduct elections in the country. The inflation is at a record high. The rupee is at a record low. Economy is in complete doldrums as far as Pakistan is concerned, and yet they're looking to supply arms to Ukraine to aid them in this particular war. We are learning that a Ukrainian minister is expected to visit Pakistan soon as well. Abhishek, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details of this particular visit of the Ukrainian minister that we are expecting. What more can you tell us, Abhishek, about this deal that Pakistan seems to be very interested in supplying arms to Ukraine?
Of course, Pakistan, since the beginning of Russian war in Ukraine, has been supplying Ukraine with a lot of ammunition and arms. So far, so much that Pakistan has recently sent a consignment containing 159 containers of 155 artillery shells and M482 propelling bag charges, M82 primers and PDM fuses to Ukraine. Besides, there have been multiple spare parts that have been sent. Apart from that, there are also reports of multiple ammunition and other essential parts being supplied to Ukraine. Ukraine and Pakistan's defense cooperation dates back to 3 decades at least, when Ukraine has been a major supplier of old USSR type tanks to Pakistan. So that friendship and that deep defense tie is something that Pakistan is trying to pay back to Ukraine. The latest visit of Dimitri Kuleba to Pakistan, when Kuleba is expected to meet Shahbaz Sharif, the Pakistan Prime Minister, and for Mr. Bilal Bhutto as well, is being seen as an attempt of Ukraine to bargain more and more arms supply, because in the recent weeks we have seen multiple countries in NATO members, including US, saying and indicating that there is a serious shortage of arms and ammunition that could be supplied to Ukraine. The depleting stock of NATO countries have forced them to look for other alternatives, and Pakistan, with a crisis that Pakistan has faced in the last 2 years at least, economic crisis, is coming very very forthcoming to supply Ukraine, and probably Pakistan may be getting a lot of money out of it. In fact, the latest IMF deal that Pakistan is now getting, another tranche of about $2 billion, is being seen as a quid pro quo, where Pakistan has agreed to supply Ukraine more ammunition, and in return, Western nations have allowed IMF to loosen up its terms and conditions on Pakistan to release the latest tranche of money. So it is a kind of very complex, geopolitical and geoeconomic situation that is playing up, and we are seeing one of the highest visits of Ukrainian defense minister level happening to Pakistan to have more arms support, more ammunition support for the Ukrainian army in the war against Russia.
Pakistan sensing an opportunity perhaps in the Russia-Ukraine war, but where is the money coming from? Because the people of Pakistan, the economy of Pakistan is suffering. For the moment though, Abhishek, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. We're shifting focus now to some more breaking news coming in, and this is amid the big debate over a uniform civil code. Amid that debate, and as the chorus grows, we now know that the Law Commission's deadline has come to an end of seeking suggestions, of seeking objections to a uniform civil code. Ananya, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details of what really this exercise has yielded. Yes, Ananya.
Well, more than 50 lakh responses have now come in with the Law Commission of India, and tomorrow, if you remember, is the last day. Today was the final day to actually send in the submissions. But what we are getting to know from our sources is that the Law Commission, since it has received such a humongous response from the public and in fact from the religious organizations as well, it is thinking of extending this particular timeline. It might extend the timeline for inviting more public comments and more religious groups into consideration. So So definitely this is a big move coming in from the law commission if it is deliberating upon as to if it is to be extended, because remember this would not only affect the law commission's study with regards to the of the uniform civil code, but can also delay if at all the government is planning to bring in a draft with regards to UCC in the country. So definitely this is a big move, and the official confirmation in the same is yet to come of whether or not the commission is actually extended, but this is what we are getting to know from our sources.
Overwhelming responses coming to the fore as far as the law commission's exercise on UCC is concerned. Ananya, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. But the big debate continues there because there are several within the opposition, even within former allies of the BJP, that are not on board. Akali Dal is one such party that have also now submitted its objections to the law commission as far as the UCC goes. UCC cannot be enforced without a genuine countrywide interfaith consensus between minorities, is what the Akali Dal has come out and told the law commission when it submitted its objections as far as bringing in a uniform civil code in the country is concerned. Pallavi Ghosh, my colleague and senior editor, joining us, getting us more details. Pallavi, what more can you tell us about Akali Dal's stand?
So as we all know, the Law Commission has asked for suggestions and opinions from stakeholders and, of course, political parties. So one more thumbs down to the UCC has come in from the Shiromani Akali Dal. And over here, the main point which they have put out is that uniformity cannot be seen as unity. And second, there should be an interfaith consensus. So there should be a kind of more meetings need to be held where you need to speak to more and more people. And therefore, they have completely rejected the idea of a uniform civil code, saying that it is not in the interest of the country at all, or the unanimity and unity in the country. So which essentially means, Poonam, is one more voice rises against the UCC, even as the government is pressing on a consensus through the Law Commission's recommendation.
Right, the deadline has ended. What happens next and what the recommendation of the Law Commission is, all eyes will be on that. But for the moment, Pallavi, thank you so much for getting us the latest. With that, we're slipping into a quick break here on this edition. Back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Casinos make a lot of money for some states. They are taxed at a certain rate. Why not these online games too? It's been made to sound that this will be the death knell of the online gaming industry. It will also lead to a lot of job losses.
Point is that elections are happening, like you said, in every state. Why is this bloodshed only in Bengal? And you cannot say Trinamool Congress condemns it and we are sorry and I feel very bad. No, sir. Law and order is your responsibility. You failed.
The law has to operate by what is the prevailing situation on the ground. The law works for the people, not the other way around. So if the prevailing situation on the ground is that of peace, that necessarily has to have a bearing on the law.
How worse the situation is getting from this very point. In fact, different advisories and in fact different messages were given to the people to stay inside their homes, and in fact this is the very message we also want to give, that it's better to stay indoors because the situation in the national capital continues to deteriorate despite the fact that water levels in Yamuna are going down. Back to you.
Okay, Yash, I'll request you to hold on with us while we move to Akash, who is getting us live updates from ITO. Akash, are there any response teams or emergency response action teams on the ground for any relief being deployed?
So several teams have been deployed by the state government. In fact, the district administrative teams are very much deployed. But yes, on ITO at least we are not seeing any. Also, Kohina, it is important to mention that whenever we talk about ITO, it is somewhere a sort of starting for your Lattians zone. Okay, so water has reached to this particular area, in fact, is reaching to Supreme Court. The fun fact is that even when, you are talking about the level going down, you have your drainage system, and, it is a fact now that, the whole drains, in fact, go to Yamuna only. And when Yamuna is overflowing, so these drains are not finding their ways. And in fact, this is the reason why this water is, either backflowing or overflowing. We have, several sort of tunnels made and several sort of corridors made. In fact, we have Pragati Maidan tunnel that was dedicated last year, but in fact in that particular tunnel we have a water problem, and because of that problem that water tunnel that tunnel has been closed. But now again, if I can show you the visuals, this is the ITO bus stop. ITO bus stop is a famous bus stop because of the fact that a lot of people on a daily basis commute from this particular stop, and today this stop is in fact submerged in water. In fact, the water level is increasing constantly. This is the sewage water which is in fact has approached the main roads. And another image I'll try to show. This is the PWD headquarter. So PWD manages all these roads. Other than MCD, we have PWD which manages the road, and the irony is that in fact in front of PWD headquarter we have this waterlogged area, waterlogged road. Yes, there are a number of statements and a number of claims. क्या कह रहे हैं आप भाई साहब, क्या कह रहे हैं, क्या बता रहे हैं? हाँ जी, खंबे में करंट आ रहा है, खंबे में करंट आ रहा है, कहाँ?
तीसरे नंबर खंबे पे उधर वाले.
क्या हुआ, किसी को लगा है करंट? आपके पैरों में लगा है. Okay, so they are talking about the electric current, and this is the kind of problem that can in fact that can be seen. We know about the electrocution case at New Delhi railway station, and now people are complaining that there we have a pole where they are they are talking about the electric current flowing in that particular pole. So these are the conditions. It is it is not very common condition, not very general condition for the national capital, because last time when we had flood situation in 2013 and 2010, in fact at that time we did not have such conditions. And today, while we have roads submerged in water, while we have houses where water has actually entered.
Welcome back. You're watching CNN News 18 and this is Nation at 5. We have more information that's now trickling in as far as the Maharashtra cabinet expansion goes. It was here on CNN News 18 that you heard first who is going to be getting which portfolio in Maharashtra with the new induction of Ajit Pawar and his MLAs. That information has now been confirmed. We have the official list of who gets which portfolio. As expected and as demanded by Ajit Pawar, he does have the finance portfolio. Several of his ministers also have other portfolios, including Aditi Tatkare, who's the only woman in the cabinet who now has the women and child development, welfare development portfolio. That has now come to the fore. Are there going to be more differences that come up after this? That is something that we will have to wait and watch out for. But for now, that list is confirmed, and CNN News 18 told you first who was going to get which particular portfolio. All of that being confirmed here. Vinaya, my colleague, getting us those details. She was the one who broke this big scoop for you first here. Vinaya, like we told our viewers, the fact that Ajit Pawar was going to get finance, that was part of the deal. That is not on unexpected lines. That was a part of the deal for Ajit Pawar even walking into this alliance. But as far as all the other portfolios go, are we going to be seeing an unease after this official list has come out, or have those differences been ironed out?
Well, at least preliminary reports suggest that the differences have been ironed out, but you know how it is in a government. Once the government starts functioning, that is really a time when they will come to know if the differences have really been ironed out. Because remember, these are the same people, since most of these people had sat in the same government till last year as a part of the Mahavikas Aghadi. Now, it was the same Shinde group who had complained against the same Ajit Pawar, saying that it was Ajit Pawar who was cutting their funds and not letting the party grow, and that is why they were meeting in South Africa, because it will stand for them. And the growth of NCP happened at the cost of Shiv Sena, though they were in alliance together. Now, given that the situation is the same, except for Uddhav Thackeray, it is Eknath Shinde who's sitting at the position at a time when the Shinde group has also seen what kind of a hardball NCP has really played in order to get the major portfolios. They were eyeing energy sector as well, something that was kept by Devendra Fadnavis for himself. So you're seeing a lot of reshuffle that has happened within the Maharashtra cabinet, not just portfolio allocation, which has seen that mighty portfolios have definitely gone to the but also from within the Shinde group as well as the BJP, we have seen Mangal Prabhat Lodha use a few key portfolios. We have seen Girish Mahajan use a few key portfolios, but also gain some. Atul Save has also gained some portfolios. We have seen Dada Bhutte, who was previously the agriculture minister,
has been rewarded now with PWD, a part of PWD. PWD has now been divided into two parts. One of the parts has been given to Dada Bhute, who's from the Eknath Shinde group. So you're seeing that through the list there are hints of how this whole pacifying process has really taken place from within the government. Whether this will last, whether this will last long, or whether there will be some internal rumbling, we will see quite soon, even as the monsoon session of the Maharashtra Assembly to begin from the 17th. Back to you.
Right, Monday onwards is when the assembly begins. Are we going to be seeing more fireworks from within the alliance or not? That's something that we'll keep an eye out on. But for the moment, Vinaya, thank you so much for getting us the latest. With that, it's a wrap from my side here on this edition of Nation at 5. My colleague Griha joins you next with Viewpoint.
Conversations. They help us understand today to make way for a better tomorrow. Presenting a platform for policymakers and opinion leaders to engage in a meaningful conversation with India's most trusted news team. To decode the most relevant issues that matter. CNN News 18 Town Hall. Road to 2024 in New Delhi, July 17.